it's the Christ of the Prophecy, and this will be my last video of the day. And this video is very, very important. This regards to my New York Knicks playlist. Now, obviously, I have a whole bunch of different playlists. I think having playlists is important. Because it tells you who you are as a YouTuber. You know, I have a lot of different playlists. Some have. I think my biggest playlist is Cuban Doll that have now reached over 191 views. So I appreciate it. Thank you. But my Knicks have. I had to delete my Knicks playlist because I have not received not one single view. And I don't want to continue posting videos about my Knicks because I already have another Knicks channel video. So maybe I'm just gonna upload the Knicks content over there. If you wanna go and support me over there, my second channel I had three. The third one obviously was in my other tablet that I broke, so I have no connections with that whatsoever. But I have two channels, and I'm just going to stick to two. The second one is Nick's Hope Savior, just Nick's Hope, and then Savior, and then you'll see R.J. Barrett and Mitch. So go if you want to go support there. All I do is just Nick content over there. But yeah, anyways, yeah. So I just needed to get that out of the way. So today's video actually is about the New York Giants. Um, I've been a New York Giants fan since 2001. No, yeah, 2004. I became a New York Giants fan. I have seen the ups and highs of this team. I've dissected this because way before I was just a Knicks fan. I didn't necessarily have a football team. Every time football came on, I just watched it because I was bored. I didn't really have a team. So I said that what, let me just give this football crap a shot. So I didn't know diddly crap about football whatsoever because I was just my mind was just constantly on basketball 24/7 every single day, because I was born in Brooklyn, New York, you know what I'm saying? So that's all you breathe and eat, like football was non existent, and obviously they had baseball, but, basketball was where it's at the time. So, obviously I decided to, do my homework on all 32 teams, you know what I'm saying? Their accomplishments, how many Super Bowls, how many playoff victories, how many Hall of Famers, this and that. So I narrowed it down to two. It was the Giants, it was the Jets, and it was the Lions. I was a low key Lions fan at one point. You know, but I had to narrow it down to just two: the Jets and the Giants. And, I chose the Giants because, I just liked their culture, I liked everything that they stood for, you know. Um, the Giants have a lot of Aquarius players, I'm not even going to go down the list, who number 56 is, you know what I'm saying? And then obviously you have number 26, and then you have Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney, the list goes on and on. You know what I'm saying? Well, not really on and on, but just like the New York Giants surround themselves with leaders. And the Aquarius, they're leaders. By default. They're leaders. Odell Beckham Jr. wasn't a leader at all. Justin Tuck, I know he's not Aquarius, but he just had that leadership role to him. Antonio Pierce, our last linebacker that we had, he was the leader. And obviously, we just had different linebackers since, but Yeah, so I narrowed it down to the New York Giants, and the New York Giants was my team, and I rode with them ever since. You know, if you know me, everybody could tell you, oh yeah, Walter is a New York Giants fan. Oh yeah, Walter is a New York Giants fan. You know what I'm saying? I have the hat actually. You can't really see it, but you can actually see the helmet. It was a Christmas gift that my grandma bought me. It's in storage. I should have got that, but you know, it's my fault. But I'm gonna see if I could try to get some Giants gear this year. But anyways, man. But this video is basically about the season. Now, I'm not gonna nitpick because I did the schedule when the schedule came out. I already did the schedule. I have the Knicks. I said the Knicks. I have the Giants going 8-9. The division, I have them going 3-3. Or if that makes any sense, I think 4-4, whatever. I don't know how the division goes now. It's 18 games now. Yeah, so like everywhere I go is just constant Giants talk. Oh, the Giants are sleepers. Oh, the Giants are this. The Giants are the Giants, and the Giants are that team where they're not like the Buccaneers. They're not like the Ravens. They're not like these high-powered teams that could just put points on you. The Giants struggle sometimes to put up points. They can't run the ball effectively. Like their passing game stinks. For the last 5 years, it stunk. You know. But as an organization, you have to get better. You cannot get any worse. Like I can't see the Giants stinking up for another year. Because if they do, it would be their it would be 6 years that they stunk. You know? Maybe they find somebody in the draft that they like. Maybe they don't like Daniel Jones. Why do you think that they didn't pick up his option? And they signed Saquon Barkley. They chose Barkley over Jones, for crying out loud. And the NFL is going to this quarterback wide receiver duo. So why not keep your quarterback? Because they don't have faith in Daniel Jones. Just like in Liv Morgan. The WWE don't have faith in Liv Morgan. Just like how the Giants organization do not have faith in Daniel Jones. The Giants have faith in Eli Manning because they surrounded him with talent. You know? Those 2 Super Bowl runs, they surrounded him with talent, Daniel Jones, I mean, he's no Eli Manning, He hasn't won a playoff game. He hasn't won the NFC East. He has done nothing but put up stats, meaningless stats that's not going to even help his team. Yeah, he's number, 4, 5 in rushing, I mean, like, so was Michael Vick at the time of his heyday. You know what I'm saying? But, my issue right now is the Giants are not going nowhere. I mean, the media is going to continue to hype up the Giants. I know they're not going to do anything this year because as long as I've been a Giants fan, I know what the Giants are capable of. Like when they want to play, when the Giants want to play football, Giants, they could be the most scariest team in the NFL. Everybody want to go back to nostalgia. Everybody want to go back to the old days where we had a very young wide receiving core, or when we had a very good running game. First of all, we don't even have a good running game outside of Saquon Barkley. You know, we haven't had a running game since Earth, Wind, and Fire. And if you want to go back, we haven't had a running game since Ron Dane and Tiki Barber. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to go back to 2006, Jacobs and it was Jacobs, Tiki, and Ward. You know, So Ahmad Bradshaw wasn't really in. I think he was still in college at the time, because I think he got drafted in 2007. But because obviously Tiki retired in '06. But but yeah, man. I mean, if you look at if you look at the running game, you know, it's not really something to, you know, to sneeze about. Because if Saquon Barkley can show that he can stay healthy for 18 games, which I don't think it's going to happen, because knowing Saquon Barkley and his injury, anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? Like yesterday he said that he felt great. The reporters asked him about his knee. He said that, my knee feels good. It's ready to go. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna take him by his word, and hopefully he can stay healthy for the next 18 games. They have a late bye. I believe their bye is in week 9. So they have the first 9 games. Oh boy. I mean, it's early to have. It's good to have an early bye than a late bye, but it is what it is. So yeah, I mean, a lot of, like, everywhere I go is like the Giants, the Giants, the Giants, the Giants, and the Giants always do good when nobody's talking about them. When they won those 2 Super Bowls, nobody was talking about them. Everybody was talking about the Eagles. Obviously, Washington was always out of the conversation. So it was always a 3-horse race: Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants. But nobody picked the Giants. Nobody. So the Giants do better when they're not under the microscope. When the Giants constantly get talked about, they just lose focus. They just lose track. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't pick us, pick against us, because we do. Like, the one thing about the Giants is they do better when they don't, they're not picked on. Like, if they're not favored in that game, or they going as a underdog, and nobody's picking them, that's when they shine bright. But when y'all constantly saying, "Oh, who's the sleeper in the NFL?" Like, every time I turn on the TV, oh, it's the Giants, the Giants, the Giants, the Giants. I'm not saying that that's going to be the reason why we're not going to win a lot of games. But like I said, if history didn't show me anything, it showed me that the Giants are capable of doing good things when they're not spoke upon. When you don't bring the Giants up, that's when they get you at your best. Like when in that 2007 regular season, when Eli Manning balled out his best game statistically in his career against the Patriots. They lost. I think they lost like 38-35, but that showed that, like, the Giants showed everybody, like, yeah, we can hang with the Patriots. Like, we can hang with the Patriots. Because Coughlin had a choice: either he rests his players, or you play your players. Rest them, sit them. Rest them, sit them. Now imagine if Tom Coughlin said, "You know what? We too good. We'll just put our backups in, rest our players." You never know what have happened. You never know. So the fact that Tom Coughlin did play his players, that added a lot of confidence in them, like, resilient. Like, we can go out there and beat the best. Yeah, we lost, but if we see these guys again, it's gonna be a different story, and it was a different story. So all I'm saying is the Giants do better when they're not under the microscope. Give that to the Cowboys. Give that to the Eagles. Give that to the other teams. Don't put that on the Giants, because the Giants do not meet high expectations. When the Giants meet high expectations, they crumble. They crumble. Like they start off fast and then they finish slow and then they just die out. Prime example of that 2009 season. Started 5-0. If you look at the first five teams, there were teams that finished dead last in the division last year. They met up against the Saints. They got their ass kicked. Why? Because the Saints was a better team. The Saints was putting up video game numbers. You know, Drew Brees had the best receiving core of his career. He was thrown into to Sweezum and Colston and Shockey, obviously. So he had a very good running game out of Pierre and Reggie Bush. You know what I'm saying? So that team was very good. We was very good too. Eli Manning had the youngest receiving core. We had a pretty good defense. We had a pretty good running game, but when you facing a team that just putting up numbers and numbers and numbers, I think they was averaging like 30 points per game that year. Like that game was supposed to be the Manning Bowl. Instead of the Saints, it should have been the Giants and the Colts. But obviously, it is what it is. So I have no expectations. I have no high expectations for my Giants. I never do, because I don't want to put that on them. I know they're not capable of handling that type of pressure. Like I said, the Giants are good when they're not talked upon. When you don't hear the Giants in the news, it's a good thing, besides injuries. But when you don't hear the Giants on the news, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So, Giants fans, don't get your hopes up. Obviously you could get your hopes up, but for me, I know this season is not going to go well. And another thing, I have no faith in Daniel Jones. I was a big believer in Daniel Jones, because if you look at the Duke quarterbacks, there is none. There is none. You look at Brian Ballwinger, he came out of Duke undrafted, there's not that many famous Duke players that came out of Duke, So Daniel Jones is probably the first and the last to do it, or not the first, but he's probably going to be in that situation where, like, you took a kid out of Duke, knowing that Duke was one of those garbage-ass teams that no teams even no teams even sniffed upon. If they was looking for a running back, receiver, offensive guard, okay. But a quarterback, no. Yes, Cutcliffe, he coached Eli, and then he coached Daniel Jones, but Daniel Jones is not Eli Manning, The one thing that Daniel Jones had that Eli didn't was he can run the ball. He was very fast. Well, not really very fast, but he had some legs on him. And he had a pretty good, strong arm, But, I just don't see it. I see Daniel Jones as the backup. I hear a lot of stories that he's struggling in camp. There was that one video that my friend showed me where, he was at the goal line or he was probably at the 35 or 45. And then the ball just, when he was under center, he dropped back. And as soon as he threw it, it just, it was one of those, weird exchange plays where you think you have the ball, because your hands be sweaty a lot. So you always have to have a towel. I don't know if he didn't, wipe his hands or whatever. So he just, went under center. And then as soon as he dropped back, he only took like one big step. And then the ball just came out of his hands, And that could be disastrous if you're in the preseason, Because imagine if the linebacker or DN or D tackle is coming from your left side and you have no protection and then you just get bop. Just like how Eli Manning did in that Jets game, and he was gushing blood and stuff. That was terrible. I thought Eli Manning was dead at that point. I mean, the way he got sandwiched by both of the Jets defenders, it was ugh, ugh. But it shows you how strong Eli Manning is. You know how resilient he is. So, I'm not gonna crush Daniel Jones. I wish him all nothing but the best. But he's just not it for the New York Giants, man. He's just not it. You know, because next year's draft is going to be very quarterback heavy. So I'm thinking that Brian Gable and the GM, I forgot his name, they're going to say, you know what? I hear next year's draft is going to be quarterback heavy. Now, obviously, they're not going to purposely tank. They're going to go out there and play their 18 games and see where the chips may fall. I'm not saying that they're going to lose every single game. I'm not going to say that they're going to play like they played last year. Obviously with Evan Ingram, a lot of people were bashing him. Now if he goes to Orlando, if he goes to Jacksonville, well, he's already in Jacksonville, but he just has to make the team. I don't know if he's going to make the team or not. But if he does make the team and ball out, watch Giants fans say, oh, how come he didn't do that when he was here? Hey, just because you're drafted by a team doesn't mean that you have to play to your full extent, you know? Like, I know a lot of players that was like that. They didn't like the situation they was in. They didn't like the team that they were in. So I'm not going to say that they faked, but they didn't put effort. As soon as they go to a different team, boom, boom, like, that person is a whole nother person. Like, how come he didn't with, how come he wasn't doing the crap that he's doing now here? Cold climate. New York is one of those coldest places where a lot of people don't feel comfortable, you know? A lot of people like sunny places. A lot of people like warm weather places. New York, it switches on you from time to time, you know? That's why I remember when Shaq said that if you had any team, if you had a place to go, or if you had a team to go to, would you go to that team? Or the reporter said something about if the Knicks would have had the number one pick, would you go to the Knicks? Shaq said no, because I don't like the cold. Why do you think that he always went to places like the Heat, Orlando, Boston, the Suns? Because it was too cold. New York is very cold, man. But yeah, man. But like I said, man, I have no expectations for this team. I know what this team is gonna look like at the end. Like I said, they're gonna go 8-9 and probably miss the playoffs because the division record is not good. So yeah. So any Giants fans out there, you know, just let me know what you think about this season. Can we get off to a great start? The last time we got off to a great start was 2016 when we beat Dallas at home. After that, we just lost, you know. Like, I don't get it, too. The Giants has always struggled opening week one games. Like, the Giants can never get on that pedestal of getting like getting getting fast or getting a head start. Like the week one games is not going to kill you. Now that we have another rookie head coach, maybe lightning can strike twice, but I don't know. I don't know. And the Tennessee Titans are no joke. They were probably fourth or fifth last year in defense. They have a very good running game. One of their receivers are going to step up. Obviously, Brown is not there no more, but one of their receiving cores are going to step up. We have, and to top it all off, we are not really that bad against the Titans. I think we're six. I think we're yeah. I think we're 5-6 or 6-5 against them all time. We haven't really played them that much. I think the last time we played them was 2010 when we opened up MetLife Stadium. But obviously we did lose to them. But that's when Chris Johnson and Vince Young and Fisher was the head coach of that team. Pretty Still pretty good team though. Tannehill's gonna have a chip on his shoulder. Derrick Henry, he's coming back from injury. He's gonna have a chip on his shoulder. So it's one of those trap games where you think the Giants are gonna win, but they come out and just fall flat on their butts. And then obviously after that we faced the Panthers, who we faced last year, and then we beat them. But obviously Christian McCaffrey wasn't playing in that game. So you just have everything because if the Giants go 0-2 and the Jets are 0 or 2-0 and the Bills are 2-0, boy, the Giants are gonna be the laughing stock. And then they're gonna be calling for Daniel Jones's head and then say, "Oh, put Tyrod Taylor in." You know how Giants fans be quickly to, you know, freaking. You know how Giants fans be quickly to, you know, to turn on a player. So like if the Giants start 0-2, they're gonna be calling for Daniel Jones's head. That's if he plays bad. If he don't play bad and the team just don't respond, because the team is still gelling. Like I would rather see the 4 preseason games, so you have somewhat, see where your team is at. Because what 3 preseason games are gonna do? 3 preseason games is not gonna do crap. Like you can't evaluate 90 players just for just 3 preseason games. Like how's that gonna make any sense? Like, like you don't know if you're gonna. Now, obviously, you're gonna rotate each and every game, but like I said, 3 preseason games is not gonna cut it. You know, because it's not gonna give you enough time to evaluate these players. Like you might throw some good ones away, or you might release some good ones. You might keep the not so good ones. You know what I'm saying? So, you need the full 4 preseason games. I don't know why they reduced it to 3. You know? So when 3 preseason games is over, then what? But anyways, man, like, comment, subscribe. The NFL is doing some shit backwards. But like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, take care.